We're going to have fun tonight. I want to welcome everybody that's listening, not just in the States, but overseas. Nexxlegacy Radio. I am Brandon here to bring you a dope interview from one of my music heroes. Not just her being a part of, to me in an iconic group like Changing Faces, but, I mean, you listen to this song, right? I mean, I Love You, and you hear her voice. I mean, how could you not, feel a certain way when you listen to the vocals of this young lady? And she is brought to you by not just Nexxlegacy.com, but also you can follow her on Twitter at Cassandra of CF, and also Instagram at I am Cassandra Lucas. We have Cassandra Lucas in the house tonight on Nexxlegacy Radio. My queen, what's good?
How are you? Thank you for that introduction.
Hey, I gotta make sure that I do a nice introduction, but still, that doesn't even do you justice. Just for the music that you've given me over the years and all these listeners, I mean, we gotta find something to do. So I'm glad you gave us not just new music, but other things to do. So I'm glad you're here hanging out with me. How's everything going?
Everything's great, now, especially now that I'm on with you. Thanks, that's so sweet of you. I really appreciate it.
I just played I Love You, so how can I not feel it? I mean, every time I hear your voice, I get a little chill,
I
think the song is not only gigantic for the people out there listening. I mean, just the vocals, the sound, it's what's needed in this music industry today. So, I want to talk to you about, the music that you have upcoming, not just going into the 2018 year, but also I'm gonna go back to right now. We'll talk about Changing Faces later, but I'm just proud that you're back. I mean, you're back doing music. I mean, I told you I'm a fan, so being a fan first, I gotta say thank you just for coming back, just for putting everything together. So, I mean, I know music has always been a part of your life, but tell the listeners and tell myself actually, how does it feel not just to be able to do this, but do this on the level that you can control being a solo artist now?
Wow, that's the part that feels absolutely wonderful because, like you said, music is a part of my DNA, I should say. It's never going to go anywhere, but it's just how you do it and how you kind of get it out to the masses and stuff. The whole system has changed. So it's wow, okay, so you mean I can do this? You know what I'm saying? Do it my way and then put it out when I want to put it out and how I want to put it out. And I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. The only con to it is that there are millions of people pretty much doing the same thing. So you kind of gotta, fight your way to be heard. But you know what? Even if it's if you're used to maybe getting 1 million people and you reach 20,000, you've reached somebody, and that can appreciate what you do. You know what? That's humbling in itself right now in the business that we're in. But the fact that you can get to do what you want to do and have somebody at least recognize that, or it helps somebody in some sort of fashion, because even back from Changing Faces days, our music for some people may have been therapeutic or whatever I could do to lend my voice. You know what I'm saying? And I can do that for somebody. I can touch anybody. I think that's a blessing in itself. So it feels great. I mean, we did enter, just going back to the Changing Faces situation. When we entered, it was kind of that it was a lot of little small labels. So it was we were with Spoil Rotten, which was signed to Big Beat, which was signed to Atlantic. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like this kind of forum. Remember you had Jermaine Dupri, you had Eddie S, and everybody had Heavy D, and everybody had their own little small labels, which when you have it like that, you get a lot of good stuff because everybody, it's a boutique. It's not a big pot of stew. It's that small, pot of stew that's brewing and everybody really wants it to taste good. You know what I mean? It's not just people in there for the business of it. It's people in there for the love of it. They have something to prove and they're adding all the right ingredients, which made all those hits, the TLCs, the Escapes, which are back now. You know what I'm saying? It just, everybody was doing it and they loved what they were doing. So
was that how you felt? Was that how you felt when Changing Faces just kind of broke off, like you said? You talk about the small labels, birthed from bigger labels, and I would always say, Cassandra, that the 90s was a decade of not just music dominance, but diversity, because you had a lot of groups winning, you had a lot of solo artists winning, you had a lot of classic, artists winning, you had a lot of people winning as far as, it was a different flavor. So Changing Faces didn't sound like TLC. 112 didn't sound like Jagged Edge. You know what I mean? They had their same flavor.
I was just speaking to someone about that. I don't mean to cut you off, but I was just speaking to someone about the same exact thing. You had an era where everybody found their own lane, and it wasn't one continuous record. Like, if you put on Jagged Edge, which was a male guy R&B group, and you put Boyz II Men after them, and then you took Jodeci, or you know what I'm saying? Even if you had Cisco, who sound a little like, who KC could have been his inspiration. He could have looked up to KC. Okay, you got it. But you still knew when Cisco sung that was Cisco, and you knew when KC sung that was KC. Or if you had somebody like an R. Kelly and you had Aaron Hall, they both were inspired by the same, the Charlie Wilsons, and you know where they got their inspiration from, but you could tell the difference. And I'm like, that was so dope. That was so dope about the 90s. You could have a tour with 5 different girl groups and close your eyes and know each one that was singing at that time or at the concert.
That's right.
So I think that's the only thing now that we're kind of missing, because I think what we're doing, or from what I see, is that we're just letting the wave of the internet and the wave of what people perceive as high, like you're saying, they feel like they need to jump on that bandwagon instead of making your own heat. You get what I'm saying? And if you believe it, trust me, it's gonna come in. It's gonna come through your music if you believe what you're making, and then somebody else is gonna believe it. And that's just how it happens. Instead of jumping on the heat that's out there already, just do you, because there's space for everybody. If you do you, you will be noticed. I think people think that they have to do so. Yes.
Do you and sound like you too. Cassandra Lucas is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio, and I always see, especially when it comes to music, they always have an imprint on. I always look for. I don't want to have an artist that sound like the next artist, or I don't want the same drum beat or the break in, and the voice has just got to be yours. You can't, come off sounding like different artists and stuff like that too. So I'm going to talk to you about your solo, because right now, like I said, I fell in love with I Love You from the moment I heard it. I was like, oh. And then I got excited, you know what I'm saying? It's just, like I said, it stirred up a little something inside me when I hear it, because I always hear, and I appreciate the passion that comes out, because I know it's a lot of work to put in to be able to do what you do. So with this solo stuff you got going on now, and you talked about earlier about full control, so what does this give you as far as just being able to touch bases with the fans, a little differently than if you were on a label, and now since you're doing it solo, how does that all feel right now in a world where we need that, though, because we don't really see it? It's there, but we just don't
that's
see it,
what I think that's the driving force behind it, what you just said. I just feel like we need it, and I feel like everything is in due time. And I feel like with the emergence of a lot of the artists from the past, who were just dormant for a while, resurrecting and coming back, which is exciting in itself. I think they feel the same way I do, and I feel like if we come in a packed form, come on, let's get a pact together, and you come in, you can freaking speak to the masses. Does that make sense? You can let them know, hey, over here, there's some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Take a listen, and I just feel like there's a whole audience. Our audience is there's a big void there. I think it should be music for everybody. Why not? I mean, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But we can't just like go away with R&B like they did with disco and stuff. That just can't happen. You know what? That just can't happen.
Exactly.
That's how I feel. It just can't happen.
And Cassandra, I feel like this. Like we can't let like even certain aspects of disco was solid to the point where it came in, it was brand new, it was brashy. It died because the people didn't appreciate the effort that a lot of people went in. A lot of people saying that about hip hop now. It's like, you know, a lot of people didn't put in that extra effort, but I always feel like it comes down to the fans. Like, I know you got a lot of fans from Changing Faces, and, you know, everybody's trying to adjust the fact that, you know, oh my God, Cassandra's, you know, she's solo now. She has her thing. So the Changing Faces fans and your fans, like, to me, is always the same. So all these people out there, like, what do you say to the new people who's, you know, trying to get to not just get to know Changing Faces, but now trying to get to know your solo artist? So what can you say to them about just the fact that, you know, hey, this is what I do and this is how I do it and this is what I want you to hear or feel every time that you put a record on and it's yours?
You know, that's it. I want to say that I know that, you know, they listen to what I just feel like the fans nowadays just need to be a little more open. How about that? Just be a little more open to hear everything else that's out there. Because, I mean, and like you said, thank God, I'm appreciative of the fact that I do have history. So even if you may not, you know, if you're saying, well, who's this girl? Or just go back. Maybe, you know, go back on iTunes or whatever. Just listen to some of that stuff. Go back to that era and kind of see where we came from so that you can see where we are, you know, what we are now. And kind of, you know, take that ride with us and kind of get to appreciate all different facets of music. That's all. I just feel like we were being blocked out, and for no reason at all, because I just know that, like, the 90s were, like, everything to me. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't understand, like, what happened and how did this shift take place? But I'm telling you right now, I'm just super excited about what I'm seeing. I think we're coming back around. I feel it.
360, baby. 360. Yes. I believe in it. The fact that you and there's others out there that still believe in the fact that music can still be pure. It can be homegrown. It could be original. It could be creative. Like the fact that you and others are still putting in that work, that's solid. And here's what I want to commend you on. And people out there that don't know, I definitely want you guys and girls and people out there listening, go to Cassandra CF on Twitter and Instagram at I am Cassandra Lucas. The fact that your song "Give Love a Chance," the proceeds going to those affected by disaster and injustices, and the charity that you got for direct relief. I mean, boom, right there. Like, how did that come to be? And I appreciate you for doing that, because a lot of people don't have to do it, but you doing it and you putting that work in to say, hey, pay attention to this. You can buy my record, but I want you to know this is the way it's going. So how did that come about?
Yeah, you know, again, if I could use my voice to help in any way, whether it be where we just talked about, you know, if somebody's going through it in a relationship or whatever, or what we're going through right now in this world. You know, this is a crazy world. It's not this is a real reality show. It's not something we're watching on TV. This is right. We're in it, and we have to live like we're in it. So I've never before, like, woke up every morning, you know, after you say your prayers and you're looking for the remote, you know, to turn on CNN and MS, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just feeling really crazy right now, and I know that I'm not, like, alone in this. You know what I'm saying? I know we are all in this world together, and I'm like, wait a second, like. I just need to say how I'm feeling, and hopefully there are a whole lot of us out there feeling the same way. And if I can lend my voice to help those that our own government isn't helping, and they're United States citizens, you know what I mean? That's where I came from it. And believe it or not, that song I'd done a while ago. I had the hook for it, but I never finished the verses. And then just after months and months after this president, I don't know whose president it is because it's not mine, but this president,
I love you for
that's a whole nother story,
but
this president was elected, every day it was just something else. It was just driving me. I was like, what is going on here? It was like that one bad apple can spoil a whole bunch. I was like, this is like so true. And it's just one day I sat with the pen to the pad, and it was like as if God just planted those lyrics right there. And I was like, this needs to be out, not like yesterday, not tomorrow, like today. And I want to partner up with. So I need to help with any way I can, and all the sales proceeds need to go to help these people. And because we're all going to need help in our lives at some point in some time. And just to know that your government, you pay your taxes, you do what you need to do, you live the American way, and they are not helping. That's crazy to me. So that's where that came from, and that's why I just ask, to all your listeners, any fans out there, anybody, if you have 99 cents, that can go a long way because these people really need it. It's going to take a long time for them to get back on their feet. It takes, years and years for people to get homes and cars and, you know what I mean? They have to get all of this stuff back again. So if 99 cents can help in any way, can help, and if there's any way you could, help, please do. And that's what I wanted that song to go to.
Amen to that. And go hit her up and follow her on Instagram at I am Cassandra Lucas, Twitter at Cassandra of CF. Cassandra Lucas is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. And a couple of quick questions. One is based on groups. Like, we've seen Escape come back and do some work, some tours, stuff like that. I mean, TLC had, of course, Rest in Peace, Left Eye. The T-Bob and Chili, they came out with an album this year. What is it, 112? Some of the Jagged Edge, I believe, they came out with something or coming out with something new. Is there not just changing faces, but do you see like a resurgence of groups trying to return or come back, or is it just kind of like, the money's always been kind of different because, you got to divide it up in groups and it's always not how it's supposed to be, but I mean, do you see a resurgence coming back, or is it just kind of one of those?
I really do. I see a resurgence coming back. I do, and I think we need it. I think, like I said, even I believe when Puffy just did this tour with Faith and all, I'm like, those places were pretty much sold out. That's telling you something. You know what I'm saying? That's telling you that there's an audience sitting there that, instead of going to pay for a movie ticket, you know what I'm saying? They are saving up their money because you could see all of these acts that you really have been waiting to see, at one time under one roof. Yes, they're coming back, and as they should. Like I said, I think that there's a lane for everyone, and in the where we are now, in the independent world we're in, everybody should be able to do it. Everybody should be able to do it. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody should sit home. Get out there, sing. It's too many talented people that have been dormanted for too long now.
Right.
Let's go.
Right.
Let's go.
There you go. It's enough action out there for people to embrace it and understand. Like, it's a lot of history that comes with music. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for anybody to come, but you just gotta get the groups, and you got to get the people out there to go out and do it. But it's very interesting to see how certain things is changing how music is, and it's just like you said. It's like, I think it's time. Not only is it time, I think it's needed, and I think we need that diversity in music like we once had it. So how we talked about the 90s, right, being one of the most diverse, business-driven decades. The 80s, and, we're probably around the same age, right? So the 80s was one of diversity and different cultures, because not only did we get hip-hop, we had some light rock, we had some, we had some jazz, we had a little bit of this, and I know it introduced me to so many different groups. Like, what did those two decades, the 80s and the 90s, mean to you? I know you broke out and you became who you are because of what the 90s gave you. But what about the 80s when you go back?
The 80s was everything, because that was, the high school and I went to Music and Art High School, which is LaGuardia High School of Performing Arts. That was the stamp on, I believe this is what I want to do. So the 80s leaked into the 90s because the 80s gave me the drive, like, okay, it's on, this is what I need to do in my life. I did go to college because I was the I was the oldest of 3 kids and I would have been the first one. I wanted to make my parents proud and get a degree because, they weren't able to get their degrees. My mom did 2 years or whatever. So I wanted to be able to do that for my family as the oldest sibling. And so I did that, but while going to college, I still did background singing and stayed in it and started learning and writing and, and kept myself in the studio and made sure that once I got that degree, I was going to go full-fledged in this music thing. So the 80s was everything, from the music, from the Michael Jacksons to the, you know what I'm saying? It was everything. Mm-hmm. It just gave me the fuel for the 90s. And then the hip hop era that leaked over into the, you know what I'm saying? It's just
Absolutely.
I think that's why the 90s was so great, because the 80s was like the introduction to it, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. The 80s was like the foundation for the 90s. Yeah.
Indeed. And what the 90s did was give that that pass that baton to what the 80s people did and the people before them. Like the 90s brought in a lot of historic people too. Like, it was, it made me pay attention to some of the people beyond the 80s, even in the 70s and stuff like that. Like, it was a lot of different, and that's what I mean when it comes to the history. And I feel like this. And one more question before I let you go. Cassandra Lucas is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio, and I feel like when you look at the state of music and the way that it is now, what can you see? What can you say that as long as we stay creative with music, there will always be music, right? But the marketing is a little bit different. So how can you tell your listeners and tell myself that music will be around and it will be evolutionized within the next 5 or 10 years based on that?
Well, nothing's definitive. I just know music has been here since the beginning of time, and it will be here until we all leave. I mean, whether we have to make it with our own beatboxes, with our own mouths, and you know what I'm saying? As long as we have folks who could sing, who could create, you know what I'm saying? And somebody you could take your hands to a box, a cardboard box, and make a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my songs have, all I need is music and a beat. It's true.
That's right.
All you need is a little bit of music and a beat. So it's going to be here. I can't tell you where it's going. I can hope that it's going where I think it's going. I just feel like it's just it's like a roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down in terms of how you would like it and I would like. The kids now, they love what they hear. They love it, but it might not be for us. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that it won't go back to what we like. I feel it's like a ride. You know what I mean? And we're on it for the ride. And I love the fact that when you want to hear something, like with Spotify and all this, you just go and make your own playlist, and you can listen to whatever it is you want to listen to. Ain't that great?
Music,
that's just,
music you control, like the box back in the day. You know how videos were when you could be able to do that. Like,
you your own DJ.
Do it, indeed. Amen to that. Amen to that. Hey, I want to not just continue to push your lane as far as I'm looking forward to seeing big things from Cassandra Lucas. She has the Changing Faces legacy, but I'm proud of you for creating your own as a solo artist, and not just as a solo artist, but one that can help evolutionize the way that not just we appreciate music, because people can be able to embrace what you do and what you did and the legacy you helped build, because anytime that you have multiple hits like you have, and you was a part of something special, you got that cachet where you can say, hey, this is what I can do, and this is what we could be able to build. And it's all about that. So it's all about trying to make sure that we baptize our fan base and let them know exactly what time it is. And I want everybody out there that's listening to make sure you go ahead and hit up her Instagram. I am Cassandra Lucas, Twitter at CassandraCF, and just continue to push it, because I'm trying to be a part of your fan base. Yeah, Team Cassandra. What do you call it? What do you call it? Those clubs. I want to be a part of the Cassandra fan club. Like, I'm down. Like, I need that. I need that in my life. I told you
you're the bomb. You're the bomb.
Sunday morning, I was in my car driving to my function, listening to I Love You. I think I listened to that for my whole 30-minute ride. Like, seriously.
Are you kidding me? That is awesome.
Replay again.
Yes.
Replay again. I just gotta tell you, like, the voice. Oh my God, you just set it on fire though. So I just need people out there listening. Just
you just made my day.
Hey,
you just made my whole day. I appreciate you so much.
I'm calling it how I see it. So I want to be on the Cassandra team. So, please allow me to go ahead and do some work for you. And I just want to continue to see all the success and all the blessings that come your way, because I know you touched on it, and I know you were a part of something huge that I was a fan of, and now that you're a solo artist, I want to see that mature into this. So I want to be a part of something. Now that I can help you, like I can
you on the team. You on the team.
I can carry your bag.
You're on the team.
Wash your car or something like that. Like I'm trying to, spin your music, do what I need to do to help out.
Yes.
So I'm
you
all
on
about
it. You don't even have to. You don't even have to say it. You're on the team, babe. You are on it. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, this is one of many more promotional things that we're gonna do together, and all the listeners out there listening. I'm gonna put this on YouTube. I'm gonna put this on all social media spots. That's going to continue to drive, and I appreciate you for taking the time to hang out with me tonight on Nexxlegacy Radio. And first of many more, Cassandra. We ain't done yet, baby.
No, we're definitely not. I have so much good stuff. So maybe we have our little listening party. We're going to do something, okay?
Amen to that. We're going to take callers. We're going to set it on fire. We're going to do what we need to do. But
we're going to blow this thing here up.
Indeed,
thank you so much.
I'm super proud of you. I'm gonna give Love a chance. I'm gonna play that just because I can, and just because that and I Love You. I'm just gonna spin those just forever now. Like this is how I roll.
But God bless you. Oh my Jesus.
God bless you too, sweetheart. I'll stay connected to you on your social media things, and you know that Nexxlegacy, we've been here 10 years, and we're going to continue to be here, and if there's anything we could do, we're going to spread the love and keep promoting with your name on it. Hashtag Team Cassandra. That's what we're going to do, right?
Thank you. Okay, hashtag Team Cassandra. Got it.
Damn right. You stay blessed, baby.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay.
Nexxlegacy.